There is something sitting in your garage right now that you financed, maintained, and trusted. And it was engineered to fail before you finished paying for it. Not because it broke down unexpectedly, not because you neglected it, but because the company that built it made a calculated decision sometime between 2008 and 2015 to swap out the components that made it last and replace them with components that made it cheaper. They did it part by part, model year by model year, quietly enough that you would not notice until the machine was already dead and the warranty had already expired. In this investigation, we looked at 7 major lawnmower brands sold in the United States today. We analyzed their ownership structures, their manufacturing decisions, their transmission engineering, their material substitutions, and their warranty language. We compared what they built before 2008 against what they are building and selling right now. And what we found is that out of those 7 brands, only 2 are genuinely built to last. The other 5 are built to the minimum, built to be replaced, built to generate a second and third sale from the same customer who thought he bought something permanent. Here is how the system works, and here is how to protect yourself from it. The lawnmower industry did not collapse all at once, it eroded. And the erosion followed the same pattern we have documented in roofing, in HVAC systems, and in residential construction. A publicly traded company acquires a beloved brand. The engineers who built that brand's reputation are replaced by financial analysts. The directive shifts from building the best machine to building the cheapest machine that will not generate a warranty claim before the warranty expires. They call this value engineering. We call it the deliberate shortening of a product's useful life. Before 2008, a quality residential riding mower was built with cast iron transmission housings, steel internal gears, heavy gauge fabricated decks, and serviceable components you could repair with standard tools. Expected service life was 15 to 25 years with basic maintenance. Your grandfather bought one machine and ran it into the ground over 2 decades. After 2015, the same category of machine, sold under the same brand name at a higher price, uses aluminum transmission housings, plastic and sintered metal internal gears, thin wall stamped steel decks, and sealed units designed to be replaced rather than repaired. Expected service life has dropped to 5 to 8 years for the average homeowner. That is not an accident. That is a business model. The economics are straightforward. Replacing the cast iron housing with aluminum saves the manufacturer between $18 and $25 per unit. Switching from steel internal gears to plastic and sintered metal composites cuts another $12 to $15. Sealing the transmission so it cannot be serviced eliminates the possibility of a repair that would have kept the customer from buying a new machine. Each individual decision looks like a minor cost optimization. Together, they add up to a machine that will cost you between $3,200 and $4,800 over 10 years in replacements and repairs, compared to between $1,800 and $2,400 for a high durability machine bought once and maintained properly. You are paying more, getting less, and the brand name on the hood has not changed. But the brand name is the only thing that has not changed. And that is where the investigation begins. Let us start with the transmission, because the transmission is the heart of a riding mower or zero-turn unit, and it is where the quality collapse is most visible. The 2 transmission units you will find inside most residential riding mowers sold today are the Tough Torque K46 or K57 series and the Hydrogear ZT2800. These are hydrostatic units. They use hydraulic fluid pressure to transfer power to the wheels, which gives you smooth, variable speed control without a clutch. When they were built correctly, with cast iron housings and steel internals, they were engineered for 1,500 or more operating hours. That is 15 to 20 years of homeowner use. The post-2015 versions of these same units use aluminum housings with reduced cooling fin surface area, plastic and sintered metal gears internally, and thin wall construction that is vulnerable to vibration damage. The failure timeline for these units under typical homeowner use, meaning moderate slopes, an acre or less, regular season operation, is 4 to 7 years, or between 300 and 600 operating hours. That is less than half the rated life of the machines they replaced at a higher purchase price on a platform that costs between $450 and $850 to repair when it fails. Here is the failure sequence. The aluminum housing dissipates heat less effectively than cast iron. The hydraulic fluid runs hotter. Hotter fluid degrades the seals faster. Degraded seals allow fluid contamination. Contaminated fluid accelerates wear on the plastic and sintered metal gears. The gears begin slipping under load. You notice jerky movement on inclines. You hear a whining noise under acceleration. You lose power climbing your driveway. Then one afternoon, the machine moves forward about 6 inches and stops. The transmission is done. You take it to the dealer. The dealer tells you the transmission is a sealed unit. There are no serviceable internal components available for purchase separately. The entire transaxle assembly must be swapped. The repair is $450 to $850. The machine is 5 years old and worth less than the repair. Welcome to the replacement cycle. This is not a defect. This is the engineering intent. Now let us walk through the brands and show you exactly where each one falls on the spectrum from durable to disposable. John Deere is the most complicated brand in this investigation because its reputation is enormous and its recent history is genuinely mixed. People spend a whole season chasing one mower problem across a dozen forums and YouTube videos and never find a straight answer, because the real know-how is scattered in 100 pieces, and half of it's wrong. A mower that lasts isn't built different, it's maintained different. The new Make It Last maintenance protocol puts the whole thing in one place. What actually kills these mowers? How to spot trouble in your engine before it dies? What's worth fixing, and which parts to buy without getting jerked around at the dealer. Walk behind or riding, there's one for both, plus a printable maintenance calendar in every book. Scan the QR code or tap the link up top, code MarkTalksQuality for 15% off. Make it last. Before 2010, John Deere residential tractors used serviceable transmissions, cast iron components, and fabricated decks. Those machines are still running on properties across the country today. They earned the green and yellow brand the loyalty that persists in showrooms right now. After 2015, John Deere's residential lines shifted to sealed transmissions, plastic internals, and stamped steel decks. The same industry-wide material substitution pattern. Post-2015 big box residential models are not the machines that built the legend. However, Consumer Reports data shows John Deere earning one of only 3 above average predicted reliability scores across the riding mower category, with particularly strong performance in the 100 series tractors and 200 series models. John Deere also has a right to repair settlement on record, which means owner access to diagnostics and service documentation, a detail that matters enormously when you are trying to maintain a machine past the initial warranty window. Our recommendation on John Deere is specific. Buy used pre-2010 models with serviceable transmission. If you are buying new, inspect the specific model's transmission type before you sign anything. If the transmission is listed as sealed and non-serviceable, walk away. The name on the hood is not what it was. Craftsman is a cautionary tale about what happens to a brand when it becomes a label instead of a standard. Stanley Black & Decker acquired the Craftsman name in 2017. What they acquired was the trademark, the red script, the association with American garages, and American competence. What they did not acquire was the manufacturing philosophy that built that reputation. Post-2015 Craftsman mowers are largely rebadged MTD designs, with significant Chinese contract manufacturing. Consumer Reports surveys and owner forums document consistent quality problems. The Craftsman V20 battery-powered line has been specifically flagged for shortened service life and battery management failures. When you buy a Craftsman mower today, you are buying a marketing asset. You are not buying the tool your father trusted. The badge is the same. The machine behind it is not. Avoid post-2015 Craftsman models entirely. Cub Cadet was founded in 1960 as part of International Harvester. For decades, it meant something specific: heavy equipment, commercial-grade standards, Ohio manufacturing with a reputation that professional landscapers respected. Stanley Black & Decker acquired a 20% stake in MTD, the parent company of Cub Cadet, in 2019, and completed the full acquisition in 2021. Corporate acquisition is a reliable predictor of quality pressure in the equipment industry. The business model creates incentives for cost reduction, and cost reduction in a mower comes from one place: the engineering. Today, Cub Cadet shares transmission and deck designs across the entire MTD brand portfolio, which includes Troy-Bilt and effectively Craftsman. A machine sold as a premium Cub Cadet and a machine sold as a mid-grade Troy-Bilt may share identical drivetrains and decks with different badge programs and different price points. Post-2015 Cub Cadet residential models use the same sealed hydrostatic transmissions with the same 4 to 7 year failure timeline. The premium price does not buy premium engineering, it buys premium marketing on a commodity platform. If you want a Cub Cadet, buy a used pre-2010 model. That machine was built under a different ownership philosophy. The machines on the lot today are a different product with the same name. Troy-Bilt sits inside the same MTD portfolio as Cub Cadet, and most of what was said about Cub Cadet applies here. The platform sharing is real. The sealed transmissions are real. The post-2015 quality reduction is documented. But Troy-Bilt earns a specific exception in this investigation, and the exception matters. The Troy-Bilt TB110 with a Briggs & Stratton engine is a machine that has been independently tested and praised specifically for its quality of cut, sturdy steel deck construction, easy maneuverability, and durability expected to exceed a decade with proper maintenance. The Briggs & Stratton engine is a known quantity, widely serviced, with parts available at virtually every equipment dealer in the country. The TB110 is easy to repair, with accessible components and a well-documented service history. This is not a contradiction of the platform sharing critique. It is a reminder that the component selection within a shared platform still matters. A Troy-Bilt with a Briggs & Stratton engine and a steel deck is a meaningfully different machine than a Troy-Bilt with a sealed transmission and plastic internals. The rule on Troy-Bilt is specific model research. The TB110 earns a recommendation. Sealed transmission riding models do not. Know what you are buying before you buy it. Toro has been building outdoor power equipment since 1914 out of Bloomington, Minnesota. The brand has genuine commercial heritage, professional turf management, stadium grounds crews, golf course maintenance. That heritage is the source of the brand loyalty Toro still commands in the consumer market. Post-2010, Toro followed the industry pattern of sealed transmissions and stamped decks on its residential lines. It sources many components overseas. The commercial-grade differentiation that built the brand has been partially diluted in the residential product lines. However, Toro earns meaningful credit in two areas. First, the Toro SmartStow Recycler 200340 walk-behind mower is identified by independent testing as one of the most durable U.S. walk-behind mowers available today. The responsive personal pace auto drive system, the build quality, and the long-term reliability data on that specific model are legitimate. Second, Toro maintains some U.S. assembly, which matters for quality control consistency. Toro sits in the middle of this investigation, not in the failure category, but not in the top tier either. The Smart Stow Recycler is a genuine buy. Toro's sealed transmission riding lines deserve the same scrutiny as any other post-2015 residential mower. Inspect the specific model. Do not trust the brand name to do the engineering analysis for you. Honda built its walk-behind mower reputation on one foundation: the engine. Honda small gas engines have a documented reliability record that is essentially unmatched in the consumer power equipment market. The Honda HRX217 series is the specific model that earns Honda its position in this investigation, and the engineering behind that machine is worth understanding. The HRX217 uses a non-metallic mowing deck. It cannot rust. Honda backs that deck with a limited lifetime warranty for the original purchaser. A homeowner who purchased an HRX217 16 years ago and is still running it without significant problems is not a rarity. That is a predictable outcome from that specific design. The engine reliability, the corrosion-resistant deck, and the overall build quality combine into a machine with a genuinely extended service life. The important caveat is that Honda has completed the discontinuation of its gas-powered lawnmower production line. The market for consumer gas walk-behind mowers contracted, and Honda redirected resources toward electric and battery alternatives. If you want a Honda HRX217 with a gas engine, find one now, buy it new from remaining inventory, or buy a well-maintained used unit. Service it properly, and it will outlast nearly every walk-behind mower on the market. Honda's gas walk-behind line is one of the two mower types we are recommending at the end of this investigation. The engineering earns that recommendation. The limited lifetime deck warranty applies to the original purchaser and has exclusions, but a manufacturer standing behind a corrosion-resistant deck for the life of ownership is a meaningful commitment that most competitors do not make. Now we arrive at Ariens, and the story here is different from every brand we have discussed so far. Ariens is family-controlled, independent, headquartered in Brillion, Wisconsin. Ariens continues to use 10 to 12 gauge steel decks on its equipment. These are not stamped. They are fabricated, cut, bent, and welded into shapes that absorb impact and resist deformation over years of use. Ariens uses serviceable hydrostatic transmission units. When the transmission needs attention, you can service it. The internal components are accessible. Parts remain available for 20 or more years on many models. The commercial lines show 2,500 or more hours of reliability with basic maintenance. Consumer warranties run 3 to 6 years with documented repair support. The parts ecosystem is wide and long-lived. The Ariens Ridgeline 32 has appeared in Consumer Reports testing. Dealers who work on multiple brands consistently point to Ariens as the residential mower you buy when you want to own one machine for 20 years. This is what the pre-2008 industry looked like before the acquisitions and the public company quarterly earnings pressure hollowed it out. Heavy gauge steel, serviceable components, parts available a decade and a half after purchase. A manufacturer that built its reputation on the machine lasting longer than the competitor's machine. Ariens is one of the two answers in this investigation. Before we get to the second answer, we need to address a question the battery-powered mower market raises because Ego Power Plus deserves an honest assessment. The Ego Power Plus LM2156SP on the 56-volt platform has been tested extensively by independent reviewers. The cross-compatible battery system is a genuine practical advantage. One battery platform powers the mower, the trimmer, the blower, and the rest of the Ego lineup. The dual-blade select cut system produces a smooth cut. The bagger performance is documented as excellent. The platform has been tested in demanding conditions including hillside operation. For homeowners with small to medium flat properties who want to eliminate gas engine maintenance entirely, the Ego platform is a serious option. The 56-volt system is powerful enough to handle typical residential use, and the battery cross-compatibility reduces the total cost of building out a complete yard care toolkit. The honest limitation is longevity data. The gas-powered mowers we have discussed have decades of field performance data behind them. Battery-powered equipment of this generation does not yet have a 15 to 20 year track record. Lithium-ion battery chemistry degrades over charge cycles. At some point, the battery pack will need replacement, and the cost of that replacement is a meaningful variable in the long-term ownership calculation. Ego earns a recommendation for its category with that caveat stated clearly. Know what you are buying. The machine itself is well built. The long-term battery replacement economics require honest accounting before you commit. Skag Power equipment is the benchmark that the rest of this industry should be measured against, and most of the industry refuses to meet it. Skag is independent. Founded in 1983, headquartered in Mayville, Wisconsin, with manufacturing and assembly operations across multiple Wisconsin facilities. Skag builds heavy-duty zero-turn mowers for professional landscapers and serious property owners. The decks are fabricated, not stamped. The transmissions are heavy-duty, serviceable units. The bearings in the spindle assemblies can be replaced individually, a $10 part, instead of forcing a full spindle assembly replacement that would cost many times more. Customers operate Skag units at 2,500 or more hours over 10 to 12 years. The parts ecosystem supports machines that age. When something wears out on a Skag, you fix it. You do not replace the machine. This is the commercial grade standard that existed across the residential mower market before the publicly traded companies and private equity firms restructured the industry around replacement cycles. Skag did not follow that path because Skag is not optimizing for quarterly earnings. Skag is optimizing for the machine still working correctly in year 15. The price of entry for a Skag zero turn is higher than the MTD portfolio brands. That is the honest trade-off. You pay more once. You do not pay multiple times over a decade. The 10-year total ownership cost comparison makes this arithmetic unambiguous. Low durability brands cost between $3,200 and $4,800 over 10 years in replacements and repairs. High durability machines cost between $1,800 and $2,400 over the same period. You are not saving money by buying the cheaper machine. You are financing the manufacturer's replacement cycle. I see. Now we address the trap, because even if you buy a quality machine, the system is designed to minimize your ability to repair it. The sealed transmission is the clearest example. When a manufacturer seals a transmission unit and makes the internal components unavailable for separate purchase, they are not protecting the machine. They are protecting their parts revenue. The full transaxle swap requirement at $450 to $850 is not a technical necessity. It is a business decision. Right to repair restrictions compound the problem. Proprietary diagnostic connectors on newer models mean that an independent dealer cannot access the machine's fault codes without manufacturer-specific tools. John Deere has a settled right to repair complaint on record, but the restrictions on full diagnostics remain. When you cannot diagnose your own machine, you cannot manage its maintenance. When you cannot manage its maintenance, you are dependent on the dealer network for every service event. That dependency is worth money to the manufacturer. The warranty language deserves the same scrutiny we apply to roofing warranties and HVAC warranties. The manufacturer warranty covers the component. It does not cover labor. It does not cover diagnosis. It does not cover the inconvenience of losing your mower during peak season. The fine print on a residential riding mower warranty is written to cover the minimum liability exposure, not to make the customer whole. Here is the synchronized failure problem that amplifies all of this. When a major housing development goes up, Every house gets the same roofing system installed in the same 6-month window. When a retail chain sells through a season of inventory from the same model year, a significant percentage of those machines share the same transmission unit, the same deck stamping, and the same projected failure timeline. An entire subdivision's worth of riding mowers, all purchased in the same 2-year window, will begin failing within the same 2 to 3 year period. The dealer shop fills up simultaneously, parts availability tightens, lead times extend. The homeowner who waited 6 months to address a gradual performance decline is now in a 4-week repair queue on a machine that may not be worth repairing. This is not bad luck distributed randomly across a population. This is a predictable outcome of platform standardization combined with engineered obsolescence. Here's what you do with this information. First, identify what you own. If you have a post-2015 riding mower with a tough Torque K46, K57, or Hydrogear ZT2800 sealed transmission, you have a machine with a known failure timeline. Check for warning signs right now. Jerky movement on inclines, whining noise during acceleration, loss of power on grades, any evidence of fluid leakage under the machine. Early detection of transmission degradation can extend the machine's useful life by 1 to 2 seasons. Catching it late means a $450 to $850 repair on a machine worth less than the invoice. Second, if you are buying a walk-behind mower, the Honda HRX 217 and the Toro Smart Stow Recycler 200340 are the machines this investigation recommends. The Honda's limited lifetime deck warranty and documented long-term service life are real. The Toro's build quality and personal pace drive system are real. Both are available at Home Depot and Lowe's. Neither requires a special order or a specialty dealer. Third, if you are buying a riding mower or zero-turn and you want a machine you will own for 20 years, Ariens is the residential answer. Skag is the answer if you have a larger property and are willing to make a one-time investment in commercial-grade equipment. Both brands use serviceable transmissions, heavy-gauge steel decks, and parts ecosystems that remain intact for the life of the machine. The higher purchase price is not a premium. It is the cost of not buying the same machine 3 times over a decade. Fourth, if you are considering battery-powered equipment, the Ego Power Plus 56-volt platform earns a recommendation with honest expectations. It is well built. The cross-compatible battery ecosystem is a genuine practical advantage, and the cut quality is legitimate. Account honestly for battery replacement costs in your long-term ownership calculation. Do not assume lithium-ion chemistry performs indefinitely. Fifth, regardless of what you own, change the engine oil every 50 hours or every season. Check the transmission fluid level annually on serviceable units. Clean the underside of the deck after every 5 uses to prevent corrosion acceleration from trapped clippings. Sharpen or replace the blade at the start of every season. Store the machine with the fuel system stabilized or the tank drained. These 5 maintenance steps cost almost nothing and are the difference between a machine that lasts 8 years and a machine that lasts 18. Sixth, before you buy any used mower, regardless of brand, inspect the transmission for leaks, test it on a grade, and run it under load for 20 minutes. A transmission that is beginning to fail will show you within that window. A blade spindle bearing that is beginning to fail will tell you with noise. These machines are not complicated. They communicate their condition clearly if you are willing to listen. The lawnmower industry is a small-scale version of the same story we have told about roofing, about framing lumber, about HVAC systems, about every product category where publicly traded companies and private equity firms replaced craftsmen and engineers as the final decision makers. The decision is always the same. The time horizon of the manufacturer gets shorter. The expected service life of the product follows it down. The homeowner, the property owner, the person who works their land and needs reliable tools ends up financing a replacement cycle they never agreed to. But the exceptions exist. They are findable. They are specific. The Honda HRX 217, the Ariens residential and commercial lines, the Skag Zero Turn. These are machines built by people who decided the product should outlast the payment. They are more expensive to acquire and dramatically cheaper to own. Stop buying the badge. Start buying the engineering. Stop trusting the warranty card. Start reading the transmission specification. Stop replacing the same machine every 7 years. Start owning one machine for 20. The brands that build for permanence still exist. They are not the loudest names in the big box aisle. They are not running the television commercials. They are building machines in Wisconsin and shipping them to people who understand that a tool worth owning is a tool worth paying for once. Find those brands. Buy those machines. Maintain them with the discipline they deserve. A tool built to last is not a purchase. It is a decision about what kind of owner you are.